I'm conscious that when I got out of the car here this morning, in the front of the house, I was struck by the colour in the front garden. It was alive with colour. The crocuses were bursting out of the ground. The daffodils were blooming all over the place. And the bird song was absolutely beautiful. And it just reminded me that we're at the beginning of spring. Creation is sort of bursting out all over the place these days. It's a time of change, and maybe it's a time of celebrating life and new life. Today's workshop that we have put together with Jane and Laura from Trócaire, it's really a response, a church response, an Oblate response, our response for the people who've come here to Pope Francis's letter, Laudato Si, which maybe made us more aware of the place of creation in our lives. We've called the workshop Caring for Creation, Our Common Home. And I suppose that realization that we are part of creation, that we're not outside of creation.
My name is Jane Mellett and I work for Trócaire. So Trócaire is the Catholic Agency for Overseas Development in Ireland, and I have a very keen interest in Laudato Si and how faith communities can be motivated to respond to the ecological crisis. And we're here today just sharing some of the wisdom from Laudato Si with parishes, parish communities that are connected to the Oblates.
So I started working for Trócaire last November. I've always had a great interest in the environment, and I was trying to do my little bit at personal level, and in the last few years it's been more and more clear to me that there is a big influence between my faith, big connection between my faith.
My name is Tom McCabe. I'm one of the Oblates, and I've been interested in the environment for a long time, for doing something practical actually for about 20 years. So I'm very interested in the different ways that people are linking Laudato Si to the whole question of the deteriorating environment and the challenge.
My name is Juana, and I came because I studied theology and I studied poetry, and I do work around climate grief and climate activism as well. And so I am usually working with activist groups, and so I wanted to also experience how religious groups are talking about the climate.
My name is Mary Pearce, and I grew up in St. Michael's Parish in Inchicore, and I live in Kilmainham now. I'm involved with the Inchicore Environmental Group, and we do a lot of voluntary work in the area, trying to improve the green spaces and to increase the green spaces available to people. And we do a lot of litter picking and tree planting. I'm always interested in anything that's to do with environmental issues and promoting environmental awareness.
I'm Helen, a Franciscan Missions of Mary sister. I've been living in Ireland nearly 19 years. I'm a chaplain in the hospital. Working with patients, I could bring them through breathing exercise, so it's really highlighted for me. And when the people die also, I can tell them we are going to die at the end of the day. So today is a big day for me, and I learn a lot through this one, so I hope to practice.
It's the ground that I had hoped to find it addressing, and that's the link between Laudato Si and the environmental movement. And I see an incredible compatibility between Laudato Si and its focus and what we have been doing in another movement called Be the Change. And there's a great coming together of the two, and it makes me see again how both Laudato Si and the environmental movement are working from the same base, both in science and also indeed in theology.
In Laudato Si, Pope Francis encourages us to embrace ecological spirituality as a way of responding to the environmental crisis. And he says that we need to return to nature in order to do that. We need to reconnect with nature. The roots of the crisis are because we've become so disconnected. We need to see God in creation again. So that's the contemplation piece. And out of that, this idea that if we fall in love again with the earth and rekindle that sense of awe and wonder, then we will want to care for it.
For me, it's a big connection between concern for the environment and social justice. And that is something because I had always felt, concerned about social justice and passionate about it, and I was concerned about the environment, and I didn't put them together, and through Laudato Si, I've really come to realize that there's a huge connection between the destruction of the environment and climate crisis and social justice, because the first world countries, the developed countries, are the ones that are producing most of the greenhouse emissions, for example, that are changing our climates completely. But the countries that are most affected are developing countries. So that in itself is a huge issue of injustice that we need to tackle.
We need to read this encyclical, really inspire. And Pope Francis was, I think, God inspired him and the same whole world, how young people are interested. So as a Catholic, we need to do something.
One of the big things I think we need to get realistic about is food. Not just people's access to food, but quality food, and to try and eliminate cheap food, processed food, and to pay farmers what's fair, because I don't think they're paid fairly at all. And we need to reach that balance again, where people can make a living in Ireland from producing food that's good quality, and then food that people can afford to buy and eat that's good for them.
I feel that I've been really longing for spaces like this where people are coming together with this kind of spiritual aspect in common.
As Oblates, we have identified 3 priorities moving forward. We are committed to building community, not just among ourselves as Oblates, but with people in parishes or wherever we gather, that we're committed to working as communities. We're committed to working with lay people, working in partnership with lay people. And thirdly, that we are committed to justice, peace and integrity of creation. And to do whatever we can, maybe initially to deepen the awareness of our own awareness and the awareness of people that we're living and working with in terms of the gift of creation and what we can do to honour that, maybe by in thanksgiving for the gift of creation, but also becoming more aware of how we can preserve and support this, if you like, beautiful gift that we have been given by God.
For me, I felt that we are the same journey together, and I was surprised so many people interested, different background, and even listening to some of the priests, they bring the encyclical. So it's a good point to start. Go to the parishes and introduce the people. Some are aware, some are not aware. So the more we do workshops, it will help people to, and also spirituality, how we are connected with this spirituality. So it's an awakening call for all of us here.
We've touched in on some big issues and how the scriptures might speak into those and so on. So this afternoon we're going to do a bit of group work and see what's resonating with people, where do they feel called to be in this, and what might the next steps be. They seem pretty enthusiastic.
Today is the first workshop that Vimal and I have sort of organised, and then the next one will be in May in Colwyn Bay, and the 2 facilitators, Jane and Laura from Trócaire, are going to join us then in Colwyn Bay in May.